Hi everyone, I've got with me here a PC Engine. Well, this is a PC Engine Duo R, which is one of the latest CD-based versions of the machine. Now, the PC Engine was made by and developed by NEC, the Nippon Electrical Company. Well, NEC is the acronym they've gone by since 1983. And the PC Engine and its kind of subsequent family of spin-off machines and computers were NEC's only foray into the video game console market, and it all started back in 1987 when NEC licensed in technology from the software developer Hudson Soft, who tried to sell chip technology to Nintendo. Nintendo weren't interested. Excuse me, really bad cough. Hudson Soft approached NEC, who partnered with Hudson Soft, which went on to create the PC Engine. Now, the PC Engine was an odd machine by the standards of the day. It had a main 8-bit CPU, but it had two 16-bit coprocessors that dealt with graphical scaling, rotation, and video. And essentially, NEC's plan was to pitch the PC Engine to compete with the Sega Master System and the Nintendo NES. And in that respect, it kind of succeeded. It was a machine that was noticeably more powerful than either the NES/Famicom/Master System. And one thing it could do, it could port arcade games better than the subsequent other two machines. Ghouls and Ghosts, that was a very good port, but that was on the Super Graphics, which I'll get onto later. Now, NEC rebranded the PC Engine as the TurboGrafx-16 and launched it in the United States of America. And again, they were trying to compete with the NES and Master System. And this was the subsequent nail in NEC's coffin, they released the PC Engine just as the 8-bit market, or 8-bit kind of family consoles, was starting to die away. Sega started to release the Mega Drive, obviously the Genesis over in the States. And I think a year or so later is when Nintendo released the Super Nintendo in America, Japan, and Europe. And that was the problem. PC Engine just could not compete with these machines. Better than 8-bit machines, just couldn't compete with a true 16-bit machine. And that subsequently went into a downward spiral throughout the rest of the late 80s, well, early 90s, till about 1994. That's the main kind of brief addendum history of the PC Engine. The big thing the PC Engine was known for was the subsequent family of spin-off add-ons and other machines. Now, one of the biggest add-ons was the Super CD-ROM system. And I believe the Japanese release of the Super CD-ROM system predates Sega's Mega CD. And obviously the intended benefits were large. Games had digital audio. Games had much bigger capacity to play with. And of course, one of the biggest games on the Super CD-ROM system, if I can just find it, of course, was Akumajo Dracula Wonder of Blood, or Castlevania Wonder of Blood. And NEC did release the CD-ROM system over in the States. However, very, very few games were ever marketed for it. And this is when NEC began to do integrated versions of the PC Engine, where you had both the HU card, which was the little cartridge cards that the games came on, with a CD-ROM system all built in one unit. Now, this is a PC Engine Duo R. This is a very old burnt out machine that doesn't work anymore. I picked this up a couple of years ago, kind of burnt out on me, but it was second hand. And the plastic's yellow quite badly. And this is where you would have inserted your HU cards. And this is the Super CD-ROM system. And another big thing with the Super CD-ROM systems was the system cards. Now usually the system cards worked, the way they worked, it was a BIOS and usually a system memory update, usually about 1 or 2 megabytes to accommodate for extra RAM that certain games like Wonder of Blood needed. Most of these Duo Rs and other integrated units had like System Card 3.0 built in, which I do believe was the last and final version. Now, another variant of the PC Engine was the Super Graphics, and it effectively was a PC Engine on steroids. However, only 6 games were ever released for it. I think it was 6 games, which included Dai Makamura, which is of course the Japanese version of Ghouls and Ghosts. However, it wasn't a massive leap on in terms of technology, and the system itself was never released outside of Japan, which quickly died off, hence only having a 6-game software library. Now, as to my knowledge, the last foray into video games and the PC Engine kind of related family was the PCFX, which was released in 1992 in Japan, and it's essentially like a tower-like PC, desktop PC. However, and the PCFX embodies another problem the PC Engine family that NEC had. They couldn't drum up third-party support for their machines. And NEC, I believe, once even tried to launch a court case against Nintendo and Sega, saying they were using unfair business practices to encourage developers to develop for their machines only. The software library for the PC Engine dried up pretty much overnight as soon as the Mega Drive and Super Nintendo came out. The PCFX hybrid kind of computer console limped on for till about 1994 when NEC finally axed it. By then, they would let anybody develop games for it because they were so desperate for software. You got things like hentai games, dating simulators, the typical kind of niche games that you would associate with Japan. The PC Engine was NEC's only foray into the console market. Would I recommend you pick up a PC Engine second hand? I would veer slightly towards no myself, considering the age of most of the units you'd find on places like eBay. My personal recommendation was that you go for an emulator of PC Engine called Magic Engine. Now, Magic Engine is a kind of pay-for piece of software that's supposed to send the developers like $10–15 via PayPal. However, their website has not been active since about 2007, and I admit it's not effectively ethical to do so. There are cracked versions of Magic Engine out there if you look hard enough on the internet, which, you know, you do so at your own discretion. That's pretty much it for the PC Engine. Shame it never went further. NEC, they're still one of the world's biggest manufacturer and supplier of things like semiconductors, phones, and general electronics. But this was only their only kind of foray into video gaming. And that's all I can pretty much say on the PC Engine and its extended family of machines. So until next time, take care of yourselves. David signing out.